Welcome, ancient soul. You're here because you remember that wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. This isn't strategy, this is frequency. You don't manifest wealth, you become the field that it has no choice but to find. This is your new journey, your new path, the portal to a life beyond your wildest dreams, where you activate your life force and step into a world that's so much more magnificent than what it seems. I'm Eva Kositsky, your host, energy worker, wealth oracle, and guide to lead you to overflow. Let's go deeper than you could ever possibly know. Hello and welcome to another very exciting episode of the Vibration of Wealth podcast. I am Eva Kositsky and I'm so freaking excited today because I have a very special guest, all from the land of the US of A, the incredible Andrea Cox, the detox intuitive. As you all know, and as I am always preaching, health is the most important piece of wealth, because if you don't have your health, you can't make wealth. So I am so excited to be here today with Andrea. We're going to go deep, we're going to flow, we're going to jive, we're going to dance, we're going to have so much fun. So welcome, Andrea. How are you, my love?
Oh, it's pleasure to be here. It's on Andrea, but pleasure to be here. That's okay. Everybody says Andrea, so it's fine. It's Andrea, but
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And you know, I have the same thing with my name because it's Eva, not Eva. And everyone always goes Eva. And I'm like, it's Eva. So Andrea is so beautiful. I love that. It's such a
that
beautiful
is
essence.
so beautiful as well. Eva is so beautiful as well. And we have Maverick and we have my 25-year young husband with Fur Lewis on the floor over there. So yeah.
Love that. Love that. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this work and how you really went down this journey, because it's not something that you can go to university and get a degree for, let's be honest. So talk us through a little bit as to how your awakening unfolded, how you felt really guided into this work, and what landed you here.
Oh goodness. So I was a fitness model in my younger days and a glamour model. And I developed an eating disorder, bulimia, anorexia, you name it. And I got sick. I got really sick. And as I digest my sweet potato, I was stuffing down before we started this. And I decided I wanted to heal myself. I loved food. I loved to eat. And I didn't want to give up food and eating well and all of that just because, in the modeling world, there were some issues. And so I decided to research and I fell on a book called The Raw Food Detox Diet. And I flew out to New York to meet the author. And I was in my 20s. I was on the cover of all these fitness model magazines. Those of you who don't know, I'm almost half a century young. And I realized upon meeting the author that it was really her colon hydrotherapist that had all the knowledge. So I was like, okay, where is he? I need him instead. And his name was Gil Jacobs. And I absolutely fell in love with his teachings. I got a colonic from him, flew home the next day, and went raw vegan overnight. And I was 100% raw for 12 years. I wouldn't even drink tea. And then over the years, with hormones and things, a little bit of cooked starch is good to dull the hormonal system. And so, to relax the hormonal system. But it's amazing how things unfolded. I wrote a book called Rawlicious Recipes while I was living in small town USA, Dayton, Ohio, where I grew up. And it got picked up by a publisher. And then I got on the news. And then I remember getting a phone call, and it was a woman who was married to a Tony Award winning playwright. And she said he's a raw vegan and he needs someone to make his food. Well, he puts on this play with Burt Bacharach, who is huge. I don't know what countries they'll tune into, but Burt Bacharach is a huge composer in music. He has some of the top rated songs that were ever written. And all of a sudden, I was in California, serving chocolates at Expo West for David Wolf, and I was the raw vegan chef for this Tony Award-winning playwright. And I thought, okay, this is surreal. It's got to end sometime. And then I got hired by an NBA player, and then Chris Knight off the Brady Bunch, who was another celebrity. And I thought, okay, I'm really becoming like this, like person that like not only makes food for these people, but teaches them how to cleanse, about parasite cleansing and things of that nature. And it just kind of steamrolled from there. Before I moved to California, I had already been featured on the news about 15 times. And I like to say I got started late. I think I fell into, I was in a 11-year relationship from like 17 on, and I built a home with him and we were getting married. And I remember telling him I wanted to go vegan, and he said it was a phase. And so I moved out the next day and moved back with my mom because I thought, okay, if you're going to tell me the way I'm eating is a phase and I'm really seeing a lifestyle being built from this, I'm going to move on. And, he was a scientist, he was an environmental scientist, he was very educated. I think my Saturn return hit, I was about 28, and it was just time for the next phase. When your Saturn return hits, you can be in the happiest marriage ever and you'll just leave, right? It's like Saturn.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's past life karma. So a lot of times when our Saturn return hits, which happens twice in our life, we just change our whole life. So I moved in with my mom for a year, and yeah, I got hired by the owner of an oil and gasoline company to fly on these private jets and be in charge of the models. And the whole time I was just learning about raw food. I was living in this big house, flying on these private jets, just educating myself about nutrition and raw food. And I thought there has got to be a better way. People are crossing over at the age of 50 and 60, and I want to be climbing mountains when I'm 50. I want to still wear a size 2 when I'm 50. I want to feel good. I want to have energy. And I think I've done that. Yeah, I think there's definitely a method to the madness. I feel naked without my lashes, but let's go on.
Yeah, so I love this so much. And I love the testament to your story is that you stayed the course regardless of anything that happened. You just kept listening. And I believe that we all have these soul codes, these medicine within us that we're meant to birth into this world, and we're meant to stay true to that course. And when we stay true to that course, the opportunities come, the things flood in, things just work really, 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 really beautifully. And I know everyone listening here can definitely, and me included, can attest to Saturn return. I left my ex-husband, 3 kids, all the things. Saturn was just like, phew, and you follow the course. And I heard this really, really beautiful quote the other day. It was that when the wind comes through life, you don't try to become the wind, you just adjust your sail. And
Mhm.
it's
Wow.
and it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful, beautiful way to live life, because I think so many times we try to adjust the wind. We're like, well, we shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like that. And it's like, I feel like the more you grow and evolve and move, the more beauty things come and the more things unravel. So I am curious what you found. There were so many things that came through, and there were a few things around the seasons that I think is really important, a key piece, because I don't like the word phase, but I really do believe as I've grown and evolved, there are seasons, there are winters, there are summers, there are springs, there are body changes. And I would love to know what your baseline is around diet and around food, in the sense of, is it just listening to your body? Is it being intuitive? Is it you must have whole foods and grains? Like, I'd love to hear what your baseline is that keeps you sane in every season, because the woman's body evolves so much, and we don't talk about all the things. We don't talk about menstruation and all the times we bleed and how beautiful that is, and then moving into menopause, perimenopause, and all the phases. And I would love to hear your take on how you've navigated all of the seasons with your diet and health.
Mm. Well, I still get a monthly cycle in my late 40s. I still do get my moon every single month. And I think part of that is because I don't eat, I don't know what we can and cannot say on here. BS, I'll say. I don't eat bullshit. And I grow about, usually not this time of year, but I grow about, excuse me, I'll grab him so he doesn't interrupt us moving forward. 1 second, I'm so sorry. What are you doing? Sorry about. So I normally I grow about 80 to 90% of my food, and I learned that from my grandmother Lagolda. So it's literally from the back of the house to the kitchen sink and then to my plate. I try to eat about 85% raw. I recently went through, this is why I'm so thin right now. Everybody's probably like, wow, she's really thin. I'm usually not this thin. Recently, I did a 21-day water fast. And it's the second time in my life I have done an extended water fast. The first time was because I had an injury and I did it at True North Health Center. That was in, I believe, 2012. And this time it was for more spiritual reasons. I was involved in a legal case that I won, but it was fictitious filing. And it was it was a time for me to really close out the karmic cycle spiritually. And so I felt the need to drop the fork. I thought, okay, if someone is still hating on me at my age, there has got to be, like, I've got to cleanse whatever. Why am I attracting this? Why am I attracting someone I've never met to be so focused on me that is building a case around 100 screenshots of my Facebook page? Nope, you're not going. And I thought, okay, I have to take a role in, I must be attracting this to me in some way. So the answer for me came actually at 3 a.m. I was woke out of sleep and I saw my grandmother sitting on the edge of my bed. And it was literally just a sign for me to release and let go of all food for 21 days. And I did that. I had done a longer one at True North Health Center in 2012 for, I believe, 31 days with Dr. Clapper. But so that if they end up watching this and I'm thin, that's why I'll quickly regain the weight. But it was more for spirituality. I do fast 1 day a week on water. I usually will get up and have an elixir tonic, something with herbs. Hoshu Wu, it keeps the hair the same color. Gynostema, I like Gynostema or Guayasa. Guayasa has caffeine, Gynostema does not. Gynostema is a wonderful healing herb. It is a form of ginseng that's an adaptogen that will give you what you need. So if you need to go back to bed, it's going to knock you out. If you need to eat, or if you need to have energy to work out, it's going to do that. And I'll usually have a Gynostema elixir tonic. And a few hours later, after I move my body, I'll do like 32 ounces of watermelon juice, fresh pressed OJ. I don't look at sugar or sweets or, you know, uh, fruit juice as an issue. My blood sugar stays fine. I'll put a little pinch of Ceylon cinnamon in there to stabilize my blood sugar. But I'll usually have a big juice. And then a few hours later, I'll have some fresh fruit. Today it was peaches. I wish I could score some cherimoyas in the desert like you guys get. I can't find them, unfortunately. And then I'll have a huge like avocado salad for dinner, locally grown. Either I grow the greens or I'll buy them at the farmer's market with something. Sometimes I'll have something cooked in the winter as we're transitioning into winter. Tonight I had sweet potatoes and squash and a little bit of olive oil and some roasted garlic, but other times I'll just have a big raw dinner. And I do eat chocolate. I do eat vegan chocolate. I will have like, dates and things like that. I really don't food police myself. I eat however much I want, whenever I want. Uh, some people say they don't eat several hours before bed. Last night, I think I ate at 10 o'clock at night because I was running errands. It just doesn't phase my body. I have conditioned my body so much that whatever I put in it comes out the next morning. I do have here at the house an infrared sauna and hyperbaric chamber and a Rife machine, which is something I had to import out of the country, a resonant light
So,
Rife machine.
let's talk about this Rife machine because I'm like, I did my infrared, this sauna. I love the chambers, but what's a Rife machine? I've never heard of that.
So a Rife machine was created by Mr. Rife years ago, and it emits a frequency. And I actually got it for another one of my rescue dogs, Roger, that passed away years ago, 4 years ago. He had cancer, and I had rescued him and had a little tumor cut off his neck, and he got cancer again, and I wanted to heal him. So I got this Rife machine to put on at night, but unfortunately it came too late. So we just, it's about 10 feet away from my bed, and it has over 20,000 frequencies you can set it to heal. So constipation, skin issues, jealousy, envy, it's got all these different frequencies that you can set it to kind of play while you sleep. It's not too expensive. It's around, I think that one was around 8,000. Um, and I got mine from Canada, and I just absolutely love it. And the biomat, and so I'm kind of a little biohacker.
Yeah. I love that. I'm all for biohacking and everyone choosing what feels most aligned for them. But I really think it is about frequency every single day. It's like, where is your frequency at? How can you keep it clean? So I love this. I'm, yeah, amazed I have not heard of this Rife machine. I'm definitely going to be looking it up after this.
I believe it's Richard Rife was the creator of it. Yeah.
Mm, it's so beautiful. And so that's your, like, in a day, in a nutshell, is that everything that you do in a day, or is there more?
Well, before the water fast, I have a cardio machine in my kitchen. I do some cardio, I'd lift weights in the evening. But while you're water fasting, it's important to actually not exercise, to have the body truly heal. And I'll tell you, when I first did a extended water fast at True North Health Center in 2013-ish, I didn't listen to that. And the doctors were telling me, and I was a fitness model, and I'm like, I'm going to work out anyway. I remember having a rebounder shipped in and sneaking it in and getting in trouble there. And it was just a testimony over the past month how much I've grown, because I really decided, okay, even if my muscles atrophy, if I look like a twig, which I do look like it, I look like a blonde twig right now with a lot of hair. I knew this was for internal healing of my soul, and also to really help anyone who has issues with me and doesn't like what I say. I'm very outspoken. I do not sugarcoat, and I'm quite blunt. It was a time for me to really send peace and love and think, okay, this karmic cycle was over for me a decade ago. Why are these people still focused on me? Why am I being dragged into this, situation when I don't even pay attention? And so it was a real spiritual experience. And on about day 7, I remember, because I did it on my own at home, I remember walking out and the sun was going down, and I saw the most beautiful pink, purple, it had rainbow, and I knew I was on the right path. And so yeah, so usually I'll work out, but during the water fasting, I just let it all go. I didn't work out once for 21 days. I ended the water fasting 4 days ago. So yeah,
Amazing, amazing. How are you feeling now after it?
I'm feeling like I need to eat a lot. I'm feeling like I need to put some weight on. I think I lost during the 21-day water fast, I lost about 28 pounds, 29 pounds. So But again, you expect that being as it was my second one I did that was extended like this for over quite a few weeks. I knew that, I would get very thin and that I would be able to, it'll take me about 2 months to put it back on.
Mm, yeah, yeah, amazing. And look, and anyone listening in, there's so much around fasting. There's so many. I don't know what you recommend in terms of resources and books, and I'm sure you've got things that you offer around education around it. One of my friends actually mentioned to me ages ago. She's like, read the book Fast Like a Girl, and I don't know what your take on that book is because I feel like there's so much information around fasting and being as intuitive as you are. I'd love to hear the spiritual take on it because I know that you would always move from your body, from your heart, from your soul over the logic of your mind, which I think a lot of people do. They go, oh, she did a water fast. I should do a water fast. And it's like you have to listen to your body. There's certain periods of your life where maybe if you've just birthed a baby or your body's using energy for something else, that it's probably not a great idea. So I'd love to hear how you listen to your body when it comes to intuitive eating and what your process is around that.
Well, if you're hearing the pitter patter of feet, that's my dog. I'm tying him around my ankles so he stays with us right now. So I'm not familiar with that book. I do believe we should listen to our body. I think when you abuse your body like I did when I was younger, and I would never do that now. I eat what I want when I want. I can eat at restaurants with my family, with friends, with loved ones. I think when you go for so long with abusing your body, and not just with what I ate, there was years that I got Botox and filler in my face, and I don't do that anymore. I never really got filler. I got it once when I was very young, but I think we can all attest to my forehead moving now. I stopped doing that even about 5 years ago because I felt like there are these times we go through and these preconceived notions of how we're supposed to look and how we're supposed to be that really disappear. For me, at least, it disappeared around the age of 44. I was like, okay, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get a toxin put in my forehead just to look younger. I'm not going to get, shit put in my temples to make my face fuller when I'm a thin woman and I'm almost 6 foot tall and I don't need to do that. And so I think we all go through these phases in life when we're pretty insecure in our younger years. And then we go through that middle time, and depending on what happens to us energetically in our relationships, where we can go through bad breakups and feel the need to, do all these things to ourselves. And then I think we graduate at a place of pure peace and pure happiness within ourselves. And I think I'm in that place. So when it comes to fasting, for me, it's 100% spiritual. It is no longer about fitting into a size 2 or a size 0. It is literally about, okay, why did I call that into my life? I need to drop the fork. Why is that like, why did I, why it's
Mm.
really about clearing the energy. And I think I probably completely got off topic of what you asked, but I think also, becoming aware of certain like entity attachments that are in the world. And, when we sleep with people and when we're intimate with people, when we get in relationships, when we have these friendships of the people that are close to us, that we're bouncing things off of, even neighbors, friends from day to day, we need to be really mindful. So for me, fasting allows me to tune into, okay, that person needs to go. That person has a broke mentality. I can't have them around. That person, I don't like the way I feel when I get off the phone with that person. And sometimes fasting lets me let go of people very
Mhm.
quickly. I'm a Pisces, so and I've got all water in my chart. So Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, Scorpio north node, Pisces Venus, Cancer Saturn. It's the whole thing's water, right? So very intuitive. So if I feel that someone or something is not good for me, a lot of times I'll check in with myself by abstaining from food and for a day or two to kind of think, okay, I'm making the right decision. This isn't because I had a vegan cookie with too many cashews in it and I'm just feeling moody. This is because that person's a piece of trash and I need to let them go. So for me, that's what fasting's about. It's completely spiritual. Yeah.
I love that so much. And I find that so important when we're in a world where we're dealing with energy and we're doing all the things. And I've noticed like it's so easy for me to attune to things because I've been celibate for so long and it's not something I wear as a prize. It's just that no one's reached that standard, you know? And it's like if someone came in happily like it, but it's noticing these periods where we're going without certain things that definitely, and I don't want to use the word hijack your field, but it is in a way hijacking your energy and you're feeling different things. And I can know straight away because my energy is so clean because I don't drink alcohol because the worst thing I put into my body is cacao. So it's like, and that's not even a bad thing to put into your body. So it's just really understanding, yeah, the energetics and the waves and things like that. I would love to know how you have um, with running a business and having this clean baseline of healthy eating, of treating your body like a temple, how it's changed your life and how it's changed your clients' lives, how you found people making these shifts because they're remembering that their body is the portal to all that is, and they're able to keep their body clean and nourish their body and really take care of their body in a beautiful way in a world where we're so conditioned not to.
Hmm. Yeah, well, what you said about celibacy is right on. I've been celibate for several years now. And in my younger days, when I went through that breakup, I was single and celibate. And many would say that was the most beautiful time of my life in my going into my 30s for 8 years. So I remained celibate for a big part of my life. I can count on one hand how many people I've exchanged sexual energy with and intimacy with. And that I think is really to be praised in today's world. I think people are too quick to, you asked me how, I think people are too quick to allow people into their energetic and their auric field, and then they spend years getting that person out of their auric field. I know for me, I won't go into specifics because, hey, we are free from court cases, but literally, someone that I barely even, knew for a long time wouldn't let go of the energetic cord to me, and therefore his new partner was trying to often siphon my energy, whether it was through mimicking of my work and what I said and what I wrote, to mimicking my look and darkening the eyebrows and growing it was weird, and so I have learned that our sexual potency is the number one thing of creativity. And I want to ask, did you say how does health go into creating wealth? I forgot the question because I went off on a I hear celibacy and I'm like, ding, ding, ding. What is the exact question you asked? Sorry about that.
No, you're so fine. It was around how you have been able to use this health and wellness as a baseline to work in your business, to operate your business, to help your clients birth. And to be honest, I don't even really like the word business. It sounds so boring and 3D, but it's really your life's purpose, your soul's work into the world.
Mhm. Well, I think definitely I alchemalize and I use conscious cohesion to use my life's struggles to help others heal. And that's what I was being kind of sued over. My voice, my voice. I have fought for my voice. Um, the Oracle deck I created, the Lessons of the Mystical Muse, the books I've written, the four recipe books are all based on times I was healing. The two YouTube channels that were born, the spiritual one, which was based off my intuition, the Detox Intuitive, and Andrea Cox TV, were all born from my personal growth. So I get a lot of clients with degenerative diseases, and 90% of my clients are referrals, which to me is amazing. They do not come from social media. They do not come from my big Facebook. They do not come from YouTube. They don't come from Instagram. They come from other people I've helped. And that is the biggest testimony to me of growing a business when other people are talking about you and how you help them. and you have other clients come and, hey, I paid you while you were sleeping at night, 8,000 came in because I hired you. That to me is when you've reached the pinnacle of being a healer, when people are coming to you because of word of mouth. So I work with a lot of clients with degenerative diseases like cancer, and I love doing the Gerson protocol. I think the Gerson protocol is so healing. Copious amounts of carrot juice, coffee enemas 4 times a day. I've done coffee enemas daily for 3 decades. I'm a huge proponent of colon cleansing, not just to let go of disease, but to let go of the bullshit in your life. I
Mm,
think if you're not cleansing the colon, we are holding on to that person from 1985 and we need to let it go, right? It stimulates the portal vein to release old bile from the liver, and it's amazing. And I also think that, a big portion of my clients that come to me now come to me because they're trying to let go of karmic relationships. And so we have created a whole other program called the Karmic Clearing Program, and a whole other website that is now being redesigned. So Andrea Cox is my main wellness website, andreacox.com, but the Detox Intuitive is being redesigned to literally help people learn how to protect their energy against spiritual warfare, which I personally think exists now on a grandiose scale more than ever. It is just, we are being bombarded with things in the news and the media, and people that can't let us go, and people that are, unstable in their gut, so they do crazy things. And we need
mm,
to learn how to protect ourselves against spiritual warfare, for sure.
mm. I love that so much. And I personally love colonics and enemas. Again, there is so much conflicting information out there with so many of these things. And I've always just been a huge advocate for listen to your own intuition, use what we say as guides. We are not here to take your power away. We are not here to force feed you with any information. If you are feeling called to any of this, people will definitely come and check out your courses and your things and find their path. I always feel that you find your way back home. And if this is like the fourth time that you're hearing about enemas and fasting, and sometimes I do feel like it's spirit being like, knock, 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 knock. If you're
Mhm.
feeling cold, let it come through and receive the information. But yeah, always, always, always use discernment. I love all of this so much. And I love that your work is a beautiful tapestry of the spiritual world and the 3D world and how we can use our bodies to connect to the divine realms. And I feel like on my journey, I've really, really learnt on a deep level how important the somatic work is, how important the vibration of the food that we put into our body is, how important everything is, because it is every single piece of food is medicine. You know, everything we put into our body is medicine. And even if you are struggling to give up certain things in your diet, also,
Medicine or disease. Every piece of food is either medicine or disease. It's either healing or it's taking from you in some way. So yeah, go on. I'm so sorry.
no, I love that. I'm so glad you added that in. I love that so much. Yeah, medicine or disease, and even people, medicine or disease, even events in your life that you're doing, even books that you're reading, medicine or disease. Like it is like, our digestion is everything from the people, from the conversations, and I love always just setting an intention. Always setting an intention for everything, setting intention for the podcast you're listening to, for the books that you're reading, and just really bringing it back to the rituals and the sacredness of how beautiful it is to be alive, and that everything is so divinely orchestrated. And also, if you're somebody that's listening to this that isn't yet on a health path, don't beat yourself up. This is healing. This conversation is healing and nourishing, and it is baby steps. I feel like we're so advanced as souls up in the quantum, and then we come down to the body, and the body's like, oh, I want to sleep with that person, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it is a journey. And I think there's a huge piece to allowing the journey to take what it needs to take, because I personally learned when you do all the legwork and the roots are strong, when you're ready, things start moving really, really, really beautifully.
Mm, beautiful. And also recognizing that we do come into this life with past life karma. I believe that, especially Pisces, they're the elders of the zodiac. We're said to be on our last lifetime here. So we come into this life with a lot of past life karma, but recognize if you do feel really drawn to someone and it's happening really quickly, that that's probably karmic, you know? And I can even look back on the one relationship I regret and see the purpose in it now. Oh, that guy told me I was really good on video when he saw me on the news and insisted that I start doing more videos. That was his purpose in my life. And oh, I was here to remind him that he could actually get a chick like me. Like that one, I don't like to use the word chick, but like I was there to build his self-esteem and self-worth. So recognizing why we come and rub up against each other and what that really means is vitally important in letting go of pain. You know, I had my heart broken a few years ago by a man I was madly in love with. He was a businessman. He was older than me, like 13 years or something. We lived bi-coastally. He had all this money. He took care of me. He was gorgeous. He looked like a young Richard Gere, and he broke my heart. And out of him breaking my heart, an oracle deck was born and a second YouTube channel was born. And I moved out of state, and then I moved out of state again. And I've created wealth for myself that I never thought imagined. I was so codependent on him financially.
Mm,
And I remember looking at my bank account and thinking, okay, there's negative $30 in there. And today, you know, it's over 3 million. And so when we look at these reasons we rub up against people physically, emotionally, and we take a little piece of them and they take a little piece of us, there's something good we're getting from that, even when it's super toxic and bad. There's a little piece of whether it's a lesson or whether it's for me and him, he was a brilliant businessman, and I learned how to be a brilliant businesswoman off of him just from listening to him talk to
mm.
his colleagues and things. So yeah, sorry, my tangent.
No, my God, I'm all here for tangents. If anyone, all of my community know, I start somewhere and I end up like in God knows where. I love this, and I love the rawness of it, and that piece that you just shared, that code for anyone listening in. It truly is the most powerful code because there are no wrong steps. You cannot fuck this up. Like I strongly believe, as old souls, we're so conditioned to be the good girl, to get it right, to be clean. And sometimes you've been a monk for so long, you just want to fuck something up. And that sends you on it's like the arrow pulling you back to send you forward. And things are moving and things are shifting. And I think there's just a big piece to because I obviously living in Bali, most people here are so clean, so spiritual. And I'll have clients that are like, oh my God, I drank alcohol last night and I feel so bad. Or they'll go, I slept with this person. And I'm just like, stop, breathe. You desired that in the moment you did that. Remove the guilt and the shame around it. Like you're a human, you're living a human experience. The guilt and shame is going to destroy you more than the action itself. And because these people are good-hearted people, it's just that sometimes it's an art and it's a dance and it's refinement and refinement and refinement. And you'll never go back to a person like that. But he was such an incredible gift. And I think when we see the gifts in all of it, we don't beat ourselves up. It's like I was exactly where I was meant to be. And I often think like, oh, I shouldn't have been with that person. And I'm like, hold on, that's the person that got me to be celibate for so long. I'm so fucking grateful. And you
Yeah.
just start to see, and I'm like, man, I could not have that. They came in, their sole contract was to not even deter me off path, just kind of pull me into my shadow a bit so I could alchemize it. And it's so beautiful.
And are you an Aries, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Gemini?
Yeah,
What are you?
yeah. Yeah, so Gemini sun,
Uh-huh.
Sagittarius rising, and Virgo moon.
Well, Virgo moon, we know those cabinets are organized. Virgo moon, we know she's meticulous about her. I love that. I love that. Gemini, the man who broke my heart was a Gemini. He was a June 17th Gemini. I love Gemini. It's actually my favorite sign because
Yeah.
they're the babies of the zodiac. And so people have to let the Geminis be free. Can we just let all the Geminis have their freedom? I mean, they're
Yes.
so creative, so creative. They get a bad rap and they are just the most creative, in my opinion, road opener and gate closers of the zodiac are the Geminis. I've got goosebumps. They open doors for people and they close out karmic cycles for people. The Geminis are so valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've closed. I'm 36 and I feel like in my 36 years on this planet, I have closed way too many karmic cycles. You know, when you just feel like, okay, we're good. Like we've done the warrior thing. Like this is the I feel like I've had a million rebirths, like so many rebirths. It's been
What
a
is
lot.
the North Node? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity.
yeah,
North
so
Node.
North Node is Aquarius. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You're meant to be a star.
I know. It's a very it's honestly it's been insane. I've lived a million different lives in one life. I feel like where I started, sharing my past is so irrelevant because my past is so far from this timeline. You know, it's not just that many quantum leaps and that many moves and bounds, and it's been a big
Mm.
journey of just being happy in the present moment because when you're Aquarius, you're future based, you know, you're always like, I know exactly where I'm going. I tear up when I see my future because the soul memories come up and it's like, just enjoy where you are. Enjoy this moment. Messy makes you millions. Don't try to get it perfect. Don't try to get it right. Just be in it and be in all of it in the most beautiful way. So it's definitely been a
And
journey.
fight for, yeah, and fight for what you believe in. You know, I was just in a court fighting for my freedom of speech, and I thought,
Mm.
is this really, like, I remember sitting there thinking, is this really happening to me? Am I being sued over what I write and what I speak? My work has been nationally published, Huffington Post, Woman's Day, Glamour. Like, I can't believe I'm sitting here, but I am going to say, you know, I'm going to just stick up for my right to freedom of speech. I think speaking what you've gone through, only a narcissist is going to take that to be about them, right? Only someone who thinks that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're usually not thinking about anyone but ourselves, just trying to get through life, get through the day. Like, are the animals fed? And did I do my cardio this morning? How's mom? You know, and so when it comes to really expression, if we utilize it to heal others, if someone is offended by that, it's because you have to ask yourself, what is triggering me here, right? I just learned a just valuable, like I feel like I learned a whole new book of lessons by seeing someone else's point of view of me that was so far from the truth. I just all I could do is just kind of, it was almost like an out of body experience. I was like, oh my God, like, wow, this person thought my Charlie Kirk post was about them. Like, wow. Like, so, oops, it's okay.
Mm.
So we have to really like understand that we're not walking anyone else's path. We're not in anyone else's head. And we don't know how our words and what we say, what we speak, what we write affects others. But
Mm.
it will always be healing to someone. What's offensive to someone else is going to be extremely healing to someone else. That's how I see it.
I see it as such a gift because your words have so much power. I see, you know, if someone's willing to take you to court over your words, like how powerful is your voice? And I just see it
Mm.
as the biggest gift. Like it's so beautiful that you got to go through that and experience that. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. It never is when we're in the heat of the lessons and you know, and I always find the journey so interesting because our soul guides us through so effortlessly and so beautifully, but the body's like, oh gosh, you know, it's a little bit like speaking on stage every time. And I've spoken in front of thousands of people, and I was in a group of 30 women, and the nerves came up, and I was like, come on, body, sort your shit out. Like, really? And it's just that the body is just stuck. You know, and not in that like sense. We're always moving, the energy's always moving, but it just always remembers, you know, we're always animals at this on this 3D reality. And it's like, oh, hold on, I was burnt at the stake in a past life for doing this. Let me just remind you. So it's just a journey. And I can see now like you're handling it like a queen. You've alchemized it, you've transmuted it, you're glowing, your posture's here, you're present, you're not, you know, you've been through that in so many lifetimes. It's just, I always feel like the greatest gift is who we've become and all of these beautiful things. it really adds to that. It adds to our frequency, it adds to our glow, it adds to, I always say I couldn't have lived heaven on earth if I hadn't lived, over 3 decades of hell on earth. And it's just how
Oh,
the
wow.
journey
Yeah.
is.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And as far as you're speaking, I'll tell you, I spoke at the National Cancer Conference. This was years ago. It was my first time speaking on stage, and my knees buckled on the stage, and someone had to come help me. My knees buckled, and I literally was so nervous that I'll never forget that. I think it was in like, it was years and years ago, like 2000, I don't know, 11 or something. But I've got a TEDx I'm working on about what I went through with the legal allegations and stuff. And I have no fear of speaking. So, where you start is not where you will be half the way. I feel like I'm not even half the way. I feel like I'm just getting started. Um, and it's not where you're going to end up. So you may, if someone is listening to this and they're wanting to make money in a certain area, wellness, spirituality, and they feel like they're bad on video or they're a bad speaker, where you start is not where you will be half of the way or where you end up. Like I look at videos of me like 13 years ago and think my vocabulary, like, wow, like that even me. But it's as long as the knowledge of is there, you're there, right? And don't ever feel embarrassed or what have you if you feel like you've made a mistake in business. There are no mistakes in business. Making decisions and moving forward is
Mm.
important.
I love that. I'm like, that's a t-shirt. Like there's no mistakes, only decisions. Just decide. It's like
Yeah,
just decide.
right.
That's all it is, deciding. Oh, I love this so much. I'm like, I could talk to you for hours. I love the green. It's definitely your color, green and blonde hair. It's just such a vibe, very heart chakra energy, very, very activating. And you can tell that you have walked a path that no one in your bloodline has walked, and you've done the work and you've turned up. And I just want to honor you and celebrate you for all the work that you've done, all the times that it wasn't easy, all the times that you just kept putting one foot in front of the other. I understand, especially the journey of celibacy, especially being a woman in a world where there is such a big imbalance between the masculine and the feminine, and we need to soften. And sometimes it can be crazy softening and still holding the masculine in a solid, tight container when we don't have the partner, when we don't have the things. So I just really want to honor you for that and the work that you're doing and the path that you've walked. And you make it look easy. And I know it's not easy. So I just want to celebrate you for that. And is there anything that's channeling through right now that you'd love to leave all of the listeners with?
Honestly, for some reason, and I don't know why, I feel like I should really channel your feminine listeners on codependency and to be mindful before you get into that relationship with that person. Know that you can really, because I'm a very traditional woman. I like traditional values. I feel like, the man should pay the bills and the woman should cook and clean. I just do.
Agree.
This isn't about being in my masculine and having, investments and Bitcoin and owning homes in different states. But what I learned through my relationships was if I cannot financially take care of myself on my own, that relationship will never work. So
Mm,
you have to learn how to get the bag and keep the bag. Maverick, oh honey, it's not time now. In order to, it's a rescue dog for you, in order to really have anything successful in your life. I feel like our issues live in our tissues, and until we clean up our financial house, nothing else can grow. Our health or our relationships, we really have to learn how to be 100% in as a sovereign being walking this earth before we can connect with that divine counterpart. I think a lot of us meet that divine counterpart young, and then we come back with them later when we have our shit together. And I think that's vitally important.
mm. Yeah, goosebumps. I love that so much. Our issues live in our tissues. That's a gold mine and is so, so, so powerful. I love all of that and I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much for investing your time and being here and just staying sovereign, being in your light, walking the path. And we're going to put everything in the show notes, but where is the best place for people to find you, come and hang out?
So I think where I put the most energy is on Facebook. It's Andrea Leigh, Leigh Cox. Not a real big following there. I think about like 50 or 60,000. On Facebook, Andrea, Andrea Leigh Cox. On YouTube, it's Andrea Cox TV and the Detox Intuitive. And definitely subscribe to my newsletter at andreacox.com. You actually get a free healing protocol, literally everything I take, everything I do. I even work with a really big group of doctors here. You can get a free consult when you sign up for that newsletter. It's a great place to be. Promise not to spam you. I only send out newsletters like once, like every other week. I'm really bad at it. So
Mm. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy, your wisdom. It's an honor. And I just want to, yeah, just get excited. And whoever is listening in, your wealth era, your health era, it starts now, starts this second. So big love, old soul. Thank you for being here, Andrea.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here today. If you feel activated from this episode, please leave us a like, please hit the subscribe, and please share whereabouts in the world you're viewing this from or your biggest takeaway. It's such an honor to serve you today and remind you how powerful you truly are. If you'd like to go deeper and unlock your soul's medicine, then click on the link below. I love you. See you again soon.